I'm John Seely Brown, sitting here in Palo Alto, California. I am the co-chair, independent co-chair of Deloitte's Center for the Edge. But prior to that, I was the chief scientist of Xerox Corporation and director of and head of the Xerox's famous or infamous Xerox Palo Alto Research Center, better known as Xerox PARC, P-A-R-C, that is. So one of the main questions today is, what does it take to be a truly world-class technology company? I have to say that my answer today is qualitatively different than if you'd asked me this same question 10 or 15 years ago. 10 or 15 years ago, somewhat biased, I would say, well, you must build a world-class, ambitious research center sitting on the edge of the corporation, capable of thinking radical thoughts and then feeding those thoughts into the corporation. Xerox PARC did that for Xerox, of course, and of course Bell Laboratories did this and radicalizes the whole mobile communication and telecommunication arena for AT&T or Bell system for many, many years. Both of those examples were paradigmatic examples of how you would spend a fair amount of money, go to the root of problems, and then work like hell to invent something radically new, and then get the corporation to absorb it. Today, I think we play this game differently. Today, I have to say, I think the real catch is, how do you take seriously bringing the outside world into the company, and at the same time bringing the inside world out? That's to say, now looking at both incremental and radical innovation, I think is done by being much more permissive and pervasive in looking at what is happening in your broader ecosystem, what is happening around the world, what is happening in startups, what is happening in your competitors, what is happening in places that you wouldn't normally think about looking at, what's happening in the silicon garages, the innovation centers such as Rocket Space, Y Combinator, where today young entrepreneurs working shoulder to shoulder to radical computational scientists are using the amazingly powerful tools to invent tomorrow. So they're going to the root of problem, but they're also using tools infinitely more powerful than we actually had available when I started out my career, to construct things that really drive the paradigms forward in a fast and furious way. Because today the speed of innovation is such that the old approach of Xerox PARC, classically stated, taking 10 years to invent something, no longer cuts it. Today the speed of innovation says, no, move fast, get leverage wherever you can, from the cloud computational capability, from people around you, from people at all parts of your own corporation, from the edges, so to speak, of everywhere. Bring them together collaboratively, bring them together shoulder to shoulder, whatever it takes to create sparks of what might really be a cutting new idea. Now, innovation today, both radical and incremental, and of course disruptive, today has to do not just with technology, but understanding fast-moving sociological trends. So there's another sense of bringing the outside in, not just in technical ecosystems, or ecologies, if you wish, but as much having to do with how are people today, of all different generations, using technology to think differently, to act differently, to learn differently, to play differently. So I think today it pays to pay a lot more attention to edge phenomenon, edge in your own company, edge in your own ecosystem, edge in your own country, edges around the world, edges generational, age-wise, and so on and so forth. In fact, I get more insights today really working with the 18 to 25-year-olds as to the graybeards that I used to worship 20 years ago. So I think you have to realize that this game is opened up. And I think ideas come from anywhere, The catch is to hear them, absorb them, don't reject them, play with them, think deeply about them, think about where they create value, and equally important, especially in the telecommunications game, is not only just how do you create value, but how do you capture that value. In some ways, it's all too easy to create value. The catch to do is how do you capture it. That sometimes requires inventing brand new types of business models, finding new kinds of partners to work with. The combination of you can work out the ways to capture that value, and so on and so forth.